So we're here and we've just gone and I've cut it down from 140 millimeters to 130 millimeters, using the face edge as a reference edge to run along the fence, whilst this side ran along the blade. As you can see, we've got the board now prepped in the correct width. It's time to take it down to get the correct lengths for the sizes. Now the very first thing we're going to do is I'm going to have a look at this and see which area of this board do I want to use and what do I want to avoid. I'm not loving this section through here. It's straight through there. I just don't love that. It's a bit grainy, it's a bit awkward. So in this case, I'm going to work from the left-hand side and work back. The very first step we need to do is to make sure that this edge here, the furthest edge, is cut square. And if it's not cut square, then we need to recut. Now let's sit this on that. It's pretty much as good as you're going to get. And so that's excellent. If it wasn't, of course, you're going to go through, put some tape on it, mark it, and then go from there. The very first measurement we're going to need is going to be 312 millimeters. So for that, I'm using my metal rule. I'm going to come across here to 312. Mark that up. I'm then going to use my tape. Now remember, we use the tape because it allows us to go through and stop chip out that may occur. Now when you're applying it, you're ensuring that you're keeping that tension on, because if there's no tension, the tape won't do its job. Got that tape there. Then because I can still see the mark, I'm then going to come through and use that square to mark that off. Now, because we're using a drop saw, would you normally need to go through and mark it the whole way? No, but it is good practice. Then what we're going to do is we're going to leave a small amount of scrap material, because the blade we're cutting with is, I'm not sure what our new blade is, our old blade was 3.2 millimeters. So we had to leave approximately that. So for me, I'm going to say leave 5 millimeters. It's going to be excess, but leave 5 millimeters, and I'm still going to be on the tape there. And this way we can be sure to not make our pieces shorter. So if this piece is of course 312, the next piece we want to cut at 306 millimeters. And that way, if you're looking at it from a rear angle, which is unlikely, but if you are, you're going to see the grain flow around. It's very common in waterfall edges. In this edge, it's just a finer detail, which makes the product nicer. So from there, we're going to come through and we're going to mark up 306 millimeters, I should say. 306. Once again, using tape, place that on there, down, and bring that around, keeping that tension nice and firm. Now with this one, the second layer of tape made it a bit difficult, so we don't need 2 layers. I'm just going to tear that off so I can get access to that line there. I'm going to draw that on, do up a couple of X's to say that's the scrap. Then of course, as long as I leave a bit of a line, I can leave it. And as you can see, I've got about 10 mil there, 8 mil. It doesn't really matter because the next measurement is where it's important, and we're going to go to 312 millimeters. Now that's going to get us right in the center of this piece here. 312 is. We could shift that back a smidge, and even then we'd be getting the edge of it, which is probably closer than I want. So we can, in this case, skip that and come across. But because this is going to be right on an edge, and I'm not too stressed about it, I think I'm going to use it as it is. But if you did want to skip it, you could just come across here and mark up your 312 from there. In fact, no, I'm going to do that. I really don't want that on my piece. It looks bad. So I'm going to come across and mark where that comes off. So I've then marked that as scrap, put in my tape, and come through, apply that. And so the waterfall edging, or where you're using the same timber flowing, is great, but sometimes it's better to leave that out. From here, we're going to come across, once again, mark up 312, 2, add the tape, and then mark that. See you guys in the next video to cut that up.